In this module, we introduce the notion of group action. Group action generalizes the notion of conjugates of an element. I have already mentioned that the partition induced by cosets of a subgroup helps us to get the Lagrange's theorem, whereas the conjugacy relation helps us to investigate converse of Lagrange's theorem. Also, we have seen the role, actually the crucial role of conjugacy class equation in case of Cauchy's theorem. In the later modules, we will see that the group action plays the same role to get Sylow theorems. Recall that an element A of a group G is said to be a conjugate of an element B if A equal to C B C inverse for some element C in G. The notion of conjugates of an element of a group G induces a mapping G cross G into G given by GA goes to GAG inverse. Similarly, if we denote the class of all subgroups of G by S, then conjugation of subgroups is the mapping G cross S into S defined by GH goes to GHG inverse. Both these mappings have the properties that G1 G2S equal to G1 of G2S and ES equal to S, from which we have been motivated to introduce the following definition of group action. Let G be a group and S a non-empty set. A left action of G on S is a function G cross S to S, usually denoted by Gs goes to G into S, such that G1 G2S equal to G1 G2S and ES equal to S, where E is the identity element of G, and these two conditions hold for all S in S and G1 G2 in G. If there is a left action of G on S, we say that G acts on S on the left and S is a G set. Henceforth, to mean a left action, we will briefly use the term action. Now we give two examples of group actions. Let G be a permutation group on a set S. Define an action G cross S into S of G on S by sigma S equal to sigma of S for all sigma belongs to G and S belongs to S. Denote the identity permutation by E. Then for every S in S, E into S equal to ES equal to S. Let sigma 1, sigma 2 be two permutations on S. Then sigma 1 composition sigma 2 S equal to sigma 1 composition sigma 2 of S, which is equal to sigma 1 of sigma 2 of S, which is equal to sigma 1 into sigma 2 of S, which is again equal to sigma 1 into sigma 2 into S. Hence, S is a G set. In our next example, let G be a group and H be a normal subgroup of G. Define an action G cross H into H by G into H equal to G H G inverse for all G in G and H in H. First note that since H is a normal subgroup of G, for every H in H and G in G, G H G inverse is an element of H. Hence, this mapping is well defined. Now, for every H in H, E into H is equal to EH E inverse is equal to EH E equal to H. For G1 G2 in G, G1 G2 into H is equal to G1 G2 H G1 G2 inverse. It can be shown by a straightforward calculation that this is equal to G1 into G2 into H. Hence, H becomes a G set. Recall that the conjugation induces an equivalence relation which is known as conjugacy relation. Similarly, the group action also induces an equivalence relation. Let G be a group and S be a G set. Then the binary relation rho on S defined by for all AB in S, A rho B if B is equal to GA for some G in G is an equivalence relation. Since EA is equal to A for all A in S, it follows that rho is reflexive. Now let A be in S such that A rho B. Then B equal to GA for some G in G, and which implies that G inverse B is equal to G inverse of GA is equal to G inverse GA is equal to EA and hence equal to A. Thus, we have B rho A and rho is symmetric. Now suppose A rho B and B rho C. Then there exists G1 G2 in G such that B equal to G1A and C equal to G2B, and it follows that G2 G1A is equal to G2 of G1A is equal to G2B is equal to C. Thus, A rho C and rho is transitive. Hence, rho is an equivalence relation on F. Since rho is an equivalence relation, given an element A in S, we have an equivalence class of A, which we call here orbit. Let S be a G set, where G is a group and S is a non-empty set. Then the equivalence classes determined by the equivalence relation rho are called the orbits of G on S. For A in S, the orbit containing A is denoted by box A. Thus, box A is equal to the set of all B in S such that A rho B, which is equal to B belongs to S such that B is equal to GA for some G in G. And hence, this is the set of all GA where G runs over the group G. Now, we will fix a subgroup or correspond a subgroup of G to each element A in S. Let G be a group and S be a G set. For all A in S, the subset G suffix A is equal to the collection of all G in G which keeps A fixed, that is GA equal to A is a subgroup of G. Let A belongs to S, then we have EA equal to A and hence E belongs to GA, which ensures that the set GA is non-empty. Let GH be two elements of GA. Then G and H both keep A fixed, that is GA is equal to A and HA is equal to A. Now HA equal to A implies that H inverse A is equal to A, and it follows that G H inverse A equal to G of H inverse A is equal to GA is equal to A. Thus, G H inverse is an element of G which keeps A fixed, and hence G H inverse belongs to GA. Thus, GA becomes a subgroup of G. The subgroup GA is called the stabilizer of A or the isotropic group of A. Now, let us find GA in case of the group action defined by conjugation of elements. Let G be a group. Consider the action of G on itself by conjugation of elements. Then the equivalence relation rho is the conjugacy relation, and for A belongs to G, the stabilizer of A is the set of all G in G such that GA equal to A. That is the collection of all G in G such that GA G inverse equal to A. That is the collection of all G in the group G such that GA equal to AG. That is, the elements G of G which commutes with A, that is GA becomes the commutator or centralizer A. Now, in case of conjugation of subgroups, we get the stabilizer of a subgroup H as the set of all G in G such that G H G inverse equal to H, and hence G H becomes the normalizer of H. Now, we prove a relation between order of an orbit containing A and the index of the isotropic group GA of A in G. In fact, the result states that index of GA in G is equal to the cardinality of the orbit containing A whenever S is a G set. Let A be an element of S. Denote L to be the set of all left cosets of the isotropic group GA in G, that is L equal to G GA where G runs over G. Also recall that the orbit of A is equal to the collection of all GA where G runs over G. Hence, we have the natural definition of a mapping F from L into box A defined by f of GGA is equal to GA. Now we prove that this f is well defined and a bijective correspondence between L and box A. Let G1 G2 in G, then G1 GA is equal to G2 GA if and only if G2 inverse G1 belongs to GA, which is equivalent to G2 inverse G1A is equal to A, and hence this is equivalent to G1A is equal to G2A. Thus, F is 1 to 1 as well as well defined. Also, it follows from the definition of F that F is onto. Hence, we have the index of GA in G is equal to the cardinality of L is equal to the cardinality of the box A. Now, similar to the conjugacy class equation, we also have a class equation whenever S is a G set. Let G be a group and S be a G set. If S is finite, then order S is equal to summation of the indices of GA in G, where the summation runs over a complete set of distinct representatives of the orbits. Let A be a complete set of distinct representatives of the orbits of G on S. Since the orbits yields a partition of S, we have S equal to union box A, where A runs over A. Hence, order S is equal to summation of order of box A, which is equal to the summation of the indices of GA in G, since we have already proved that index of GA in G is equal to order of box A. Though our motivation here to study group action is purely group theoretic, still the group action has many interesting combinatorial applications. Now we prove a result known as one-side theorem, which is used to solve combinatorial problems using group action. Let G be a finite group and S be a finite G set. Then the number of orbits of G on S is given by 1 by order G into summation Fg, where G runs over G, and Fg is the number of elements of S fixed by G. Now, to prove this result, consider the set T equal to the set of all ordered pairs GA in G cross S such that GA is equal to A. That is, a pair GA is in T if G keeps A fixed. For every G in G, denote the number of elements A in S such that GA equal to A by Fg. Then Fg is the number of elements A in S such that GA in T, and it follows that order of T is equal to summation Fg, where G runs over G. Also, for every A in S, the isotropic group of A is equal to the collection of all G in G such that GA is in T. Hence, order T is equal to summation order GA, where A runs over S. Suppose that G has k orbits on S and box A1, box A2 up to box AK is a complete list of distinct orbits of G on S. Then S is the union of these k orbits and we get summation Fg, where G runs over G, is equal to summation order GA, where A runs over box A1 plus summation order GA, where A runs over box A2 and so on up to K. Now, if AB are in the same orbit, then box A equal to box B and index of GA in G is equal to order of box A is equal to order of box B is equal to index of GB in G. Since G is a finite group, this implies that order of GA is equal to order of GB. Thus, summation Fg, where G runs over G, is equal to order of box A1 into order of GA1 plus order of box A2 into order GA2 plus so on up to K. This is equal to order G by order GA1 into order GA1 and similarly for A2 up to AK. Thus, this is equal to K into order G and consequently the number of orbits K is equal to 1 by order G into summation Fg, where G runs over G. Since here we are interested only to the group theory, we will not give here any combinatorial application of this theorem. Rather, I would like to refer any standard book on abstract algebra, especially M. Artin. Now, as an application of group action, first we will prove that if G is a group and S is a G set, then the action of G on S induces a homomorphism from G into the group AS of all permutations of S. To prove, let G be an arbitrary element of G. Define a mapping tau G from S into S by tau GA is equal to GA for all A in S. Then it is easy to prove that tau G is onto and tau G is 1 to 1. Hence, tau G becomes a permutation on S, that is tau G belongs to AS, and this also gives us a homomorphism from G into AS. For this, consider G1, G2 in G and A belongs to S. Then G1 into G2 is an element of G and we have an element tau G1, G2 in AS. And this is such that tau G1, G2A is equal to G1, G2 into A is equal to actually tau G1 composition tau G2 of A. And since this is true for all A in S, we have tau G1 G2 is equal to tau G1 composition tau G2. Hence the mapping psi from G into AS defined by psi G equal to tau G for all G in G is a homomorphism from G into AS. As a corollary of this result, we can prove easily the well-known Cayley's theorem that states that every group is isomorphic to a group of permutations. Now we prove that every subgroup of smallest possible prime index is normal. To state formally, let G be a finite group and P be the smallest prime divisor of order G. Then every subgroup H of G of index P is normal in G. Let H be a subgroup of G such that index of H in G is P. Denote S to be the set of all left cosets of H in G and define an action of G on S by G into AH equal to GAH, that is G into left coset of H containing A is equal to left coset of H containing GA. It is easy to show that this is an action of G on S, so we have a homomorphism psi from G into AS defined by psi G equal to tau G, where tau GAH equal to GAH. Let K be equal to car psi, then K is a normal subgroup of G and such that K is subset of H. Actually, we will prove that H is equal to K and thus it will be proved that H is a normal subgroup of G. Now, order S, that is order of the set of all left cosets of H in G is equal to index of H in G is equal to P, which shows that order of AS is equal to factorial P. Since K is kernel of some homomorphism, so K is a normal subgroup, so we can consider the quotient group G by K. And from the first isomorphism theorem, it follows that G by K is isomorphic to a subgroup of AS. So, order G by K divides factorial P. Also, order G is equal to order K into order G by K, which shows that every divisor of order G by K is also a divisor of order G. But P is the smallest prime divisor of order G, and so order G cannot have any divisor less than P but 1. Hence, order G by K is equal to P or 1. But order G by K is equal to index of K in G, which is greater than equal to P, shows that order G by K can never be 1. Thus, order G by K is equal to P is equal to index of H in G. Hence, index of K in H is equal to 1 and H equal to K. Thus, H becomes a normal subgroup of G. This result generalizes the result that every subgroup of index 2 is normal. If H is a subgroup of a group finite group G such that index of H in G equal to 2, 2 being the smallest prime number, so in this case the index becomes the smallest prime divisor of order G, and hence it follows from this result that H is normal in G.